welcome to another session of ScatterYarn. A man from Brazil. He and first wife decided that he can marry other women. So at the end, Arthur has 6 wives.
You can condone 1, you can condone 2, you can condone 2, you can possibly condone 3 and 4.
I'm trying to think about what would have made her get to a point where she said, okay, let's bring an additional wife in. And then how did we go from 1 to 5?
It could be love. Some people could say it could be charms.
It's definitely lucky because I guess I would say 95% of men want to be in his shoes, but they won't tell you that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another session of ScatterYarn, where we discuss anything that relates to people and their actions within society. I'm your guy, Tobes, and I've also got a few of my friends with me. I've got Maurice, I've got Ade, I've got Princess. How are you doing, gentlemen and lady?
Excellent.
Good, thank you.
How are you?
Good.
Well, I need some sleep, but I'm okay. And also, we've got joining us for the first time, my guy, Johnny Boy, and Sakisha. How are you doing, Sakisha? How are you doing, Johnny?
Hi, I'm well.
I'm doing good, bro. Longest time.
Yes, nice to see you again. Hopefully, it's going to be a fun one. In this episode, we're going to be discussing about relationships and things that people do in relationships. To some people, it might be normal. To others, it might be absurd, but we're just going to scatteryarn about it anyway. And we're going to be looking at it from the point of 2 stories, one involving a Brazilian man, another one involving a man from the United States. Even though the story is about the man, from my point of view, there are lots of women involved. We can say this relationship is more of a polygamous and polyamorous type of relationship. So hopefully we can have fun with some of the stories in there. Before we start the episode, just a quick question to the panel. What is one thing you're not going to accept in your relationship? So let's say you've been dating for a long period of time and you ended up getting married. And during the marriage, your spouse asks for or make a statement or ask for something ridiculous. What is your red line that you say, okay, now I need to leave? So for me, I'll say, let's say I've been dating someone for a long time and then we get married and they say they don't want children. For me, that's a deal breaker right there. I think I'll just pack my bags and leave. But to some people, they don't mind not having children. So to the panel, what is your red line? Early marriage, not like 5, 6, 7 years down the line in the marriage. You've been dating for maybe 2, 3 years and then you got married and then they just switched up on you. Like, what is that red line?
I think I also go for children as well because I would like my lineage to continue. So definitely children part is a big red flag for me. Once you say that, I'm up. Straight up.
Well, for me, it's going to be just the general details of the marriage vows. So if, for instance, the person, you say, with this ring, I do wed with my body, I do worship with all my worldly goods. They're trying to, renege on that contract. And it might be a bit sketchy for me. I'll have to bow out. Yeah.
Right. So what is that renege? Where they is it like when they keep the money for them? If it's a woman, keep her money for herself and then expect you to start paying all the bills, even though you say you're sharing the possessions equally. Is it that part of the vow or something different?
May God help us. We'll never have money problems. But, there are other things aside from money in that line. And if, those things are not available, that person is sending an innocent child out on the street. Sending me out there, they shouldn't do that. I signed the contract. Respect that contract.
Fair enough. Yeah, and to the ladies, any red lines?
I would say for me, it would be bringing in any additional person into the relationship. So male, female, anything clever.
Interesting. Maurice, I'm going to come to you, Mr. Traveler. If the person said they're not traveling at all, I'm joking. What is your red line? Taking so long to think about this one. It shouldn't be that deep.
That's the thing. The thing is maybe it's my personal philosophy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe that humans are subject to change. So a lot of the times I expect that probably in another 10 years, you might not be the same person. So if I expect that, then things might change. So I would have to wait and see. So if the time comes and it's something I know I definitely cannot cope with, then maybe it's time to walk away. But I can't really pinpoint honestly. That's why I was taking too long to think about it. Any specific aspect, I would say that this is a no-go area for me, because for me, if it's marriage, well, if you're meant to do it for life, then it's all cards on the table. We die here. So whatever comes, you should be able to, I don't know, reevaluate your stance. And if it is a no-go area for you, then you can opt out. But right now, I can't think of any.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Princess.
Yeah, I would say cheating. You're dating for, like you said, 2, 3 years, and there's not been an instance of any other third party in the situation. And all of a sudden you're married and you start noticing the patterns of your husband or your partner going out and giving late nights, or basically lying about, being secretive about somebody else he's actually potentially or seeing or having a relationship with. That's a big red flag. That would make me reevaluate my situation and call it a stance, because that's something I wouldn't take from a relationship.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So the first story for this episode is about a man named Arthur from Brazil. Okay. Now, Arthur married his first wife in 2015. Yes, I said first wife because things changed up. Okay. So while he and his wife was married, he and the first wife decided that, or they agreed, I would say they agreed with Arthur this time, that he can marry other women. So at the end, Arthur has 6 wives. Okay. So to that, what do you ladies say? You started with as one, a solo wife, and then at some point there are 5 other sister wives. To that, what is your reaction? Are you still going to stay? Are you going to leave? Anyways, she agreed, so she's staying. But if you put yourself in that situation, would you agree for your partner to go?
Yeah, it would depend on the terms of the agreement. You're agreeing, but if it's not like, if it's a written and a binding contract to say, I agree for you to have another wife, but you didn't say, is it 1 or 2? If it's open for you to say wife or wives. So if you don't specify, maybe she didn't specify, she didn't know it would go ahead as having 6. Maybe she just thought he was getting 1, but I think there was an agreement, so she knew she was in for it. But if she was not aware of the terms of the contract, how wide or other contract can be changed, that's where she must have felt bad. Like, oh, I was aware of the situation, but I didn't know it could be escalated really quickly like that.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, if you were in the situation, because I can assume that he didn't marry the other 5 women at once. I'm sure he came with one, and then there was another one, and another one, another one. Yes, Maurice. What do you say? If you're Arthur, I'm sure you'll be happy.
If you can condone 1, you can condone 2. If you can condone 2, you can possibly condone 3 and 4 and so on. So as long as that infidelity bond is broken, then it changes the whole conversation. So
but
if
it's not
you're no
infidelity,
longer,
if it's no longer infidelity, if they're agreeing and they're becoming sister wives, that's not infidelity. They are not cheating.
so exactly, so which even makes it even more acceptable, because if it's not technically there's anything wrong with 1, then why should an additional 1 or 2 be a problem? I don't know. Unless maybe the only thing I can see is maybe the attention starts to reduce from maybe, okay, you're not giving me enough time and attention. So maybe it might be worth leaving at that point. But because the more people that are involved, the smaller the slice of the cake. So maybe she's not getting enough cake. So she has to think about whether or not it's worth her staying or not. I think if you're open for 1 additional, then an additional 1 may not really be that much of a problem, because it's not because you already know you're sharing this person. Again, it's still the same thing that is maintained throughout the additional partners that you'll be bringing in. So I don't know.
Fair enough. Today's Sekesha, what do you say to that?
Yeah, no, I agree with Morris. If you've agreed to 1, then I don't see the difference in 2. I mean, yeah, as it goes up, you might, like, the relationship, your standards within it might end up, like, not even your standards. The whole relationship, the dynamics might drop. So you might see your partner less. You might not get the benefits that you were getting from it.
Yeah.
So I think that perspective, it might start to like, it's kind of like maybe, hold on, wait, let me slightly change views, because initially the woman she might be bisexual, so she might actually be enjoying all of these different relationships.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, sorry.
No,
Guys,
no, that's
I'm thinking about so many different things are going through my head right now. Because I'm trying to be the wife, and I'm trying to think about what would have made her get to a point where she said, okay, let's bring an additional wife in. And then how did we go from 1 to 5? Was it 5 or was it
5
6?
or that. So there are 6 in total, 6 wives in total.
Yeah, like how did we get there? And then what does that look like? Do they all live together?
Yes, they all live
Do they
together in the same house.
They all live together.
Yeah, same house.
Yeah. So Maurice, she said something about the cake, like the slices becoming smaller. Like at this point, she's having a sliver of her husband. I don't know, that contract for me, it varied way. It surpassed what the initial contract would have been. We would have been going for. Just we showed a little bit of my husband, and basically all of my husband's gone.
Right. I've seen watching all your reactions, all your opinion. Yeah, what do you have to say?
So, funny enough, I think everyone has said what needs to be said. So there's that aspect of, the attention you get from the husband or even from the wives, it begins to reduce, and that reduces the quality of the relationship. But as I was listening to that, especially what Sikisha was saying, I was thinking of times where I've heard people say how some spouses or some couples they get intimate like once a week, some once a month, things like this. And in that way, I was thinking, okay, so maybe they might be happy with this kind of arrangement where, instead of seeing it as my cake is reducing, maybe you see it as division of labor. So you do one shift on Monday, someone else does the shift on Tuesday, etc. That's all I have to say to that.
But with that example, it means it's only the guy that is enjoying right now, isn't it? It's the one
No, not necessarily, because think about
different cakes, different velvet cake, carrot cake.
But see where it becomes even more complicated.
I'll let Maurice carry on.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say that if you're investing in a lot of your time and energy on multiple partners, that also reduces the quality of time you would spend with the next one you're with. Because it's like when there is delayed gratification in a relationship, for example, it's been a couple of days when you last did the deed, and then eventually you come together. It's a lot more interesting, but for him it's different because he's constantly having that action. So maybe the zest, the energy, the enthusiasm maybe dwindled when it comes to the next partner. So even though there's division of labor, I don't know if he might actually have that energy or the zeal or the enthusiasm when it comes back to the next partner. That's why I think, the quality might reduce significantly.
Fair enough.
Look for alomo bitters. Please, anytime I've not eaten plantain and I eat it later, it always tastes good. Carry on.
So for me, I think a couple of years I met a couple, and she was telling me that when they were dating, right, they had a discussion, and then the husband told her that he would like to have an open marriage. I don't know whether you guys know what that means, right? I guess you guys know, right? So initially she didn't like the idea, but apparently she loved him so much, she agreed to that. So when they got married, it started, and she couldn't take it. It was crazy for her, like the first 2 years. But then they had an agreement that the husband was always going to let her know, like, who he was going to meet and stuff like that. So she was able to accept it. Then down the line now, guess what? She's part of it. She actually goes out with him now to meet other people.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it's an agreement, so I don't think there's an issue with that. As long as there's an agreement, I'm fine with that.
Fair enough. But the thing is, she was okay with it. They were actually happy from the news, from the report I read. She's happy with it. She was happy with the wives. She even called them sister wives. They were like living in a nice, harmonious relationship. But that's not the plot twist. The plot twist is, say that again?
Are they're not Muslim, are they?
No, they didn't specify the religion, but they are Brazilians. I know Brazilians like to have fun.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
They're probably Catholics.
Yeah. But
Are
anyways,
they sisters?
no, they're sister wives
Like blood
now.
sister?
So no,
Okay.
no. They're different women. But that's not the plot twist. Now, this man, even though he has these 6 wives, as you guys said, maybe different shifts, he wants children. But because he doesn't want to disrupt the harmonious relationship in the house, he wants to have his child through surrogacy. So he doesn't want the
Any of
children
them.
from any of them, so that they don't think, oh, you love me more, you don't love me more. And then so he wants a child from outside the marriage through surrogacy. And that is where the issue is. So to this, gentlemen, what do you say?
That's
What is this what being an alpha male is about?
I was thinking more of narcissism. It's like this one is taking it up to another level, because now to me it just sounds a lot. It's now leaning towards that selfish roots. It's like, okay, it's okay for you as the man to basically father a child, then, but none of the women. No, to me, there's just something wrong with that. I don't know. Maybe not wrong is the actual word. There's just something strange about that
Yeah, but
concept.
you can say that he kind of consider his wives and the harmonious relationship. He doesn't want them to feel, terrible that, because if he has child with one, he might want to have a child with others. So
Yeah, you should do.
he
You
Yeah,
should do
doesn't
that.
want 6
You should do that.
children. So
You should do that.
exactly.
he doesn't
That
want
sounds like
six
the
But
children.
then have 6 kids. That's 6 kids in the house.
Yeah.
5.
Well,
Is it 5? It's 5.
no, 6
in the house.
because it's 6 wives, so 6 kids.
yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
6. That's too many kids.
Exactly. So he wanted, yeah. So shortcut, get someone else to have the baby on behalf of everyone. Princess, what do you say to that? The guy wants to expand his family tree without branching out.
It's a bit selfish because he wants to have kids, but doesn't want the women to have kids. Yeah, it's a bit selfish. So that means you're basically sleeping with your wives, but you don't want them to bear a child, and you want them to raise a child for you, so the harmonious relationship is not being altered.
No,
It's gonna be
we
altered.
will all raise the child, but
Yeah.
none of them
Yeah.
will be pregnant. Obviously, surrogacy, you pay someone else to get the child, and then you take your child, like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's kids.
Yeah. The harmonious relationship is gonna be altered because if we're talking about surrogates like Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, their sperm and their egg is being used to make the child.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't want to use the eggs of the women, so the woman doesn't feel attached to that child, it's been selfish because you're basically bringing your child for these women to raise. They would start having that feeling that, if he's having a child and he would love the child, you will see that fatherly side of him. They will want to have that motherly affection and that bond to have their own kids. So it would definitely lead into a bit of contrast in the relationship, because you're basically raising the child for your husband, but you can't have one.
And today,
so it's selfish.
No, I agree. It is selfish, but I think for the household to remain harmonious,
exactly,
that is the best option. I can't in my thinking is this: it's either your first wife has the child, or you have a child outside.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then the rest of the wives can go their separate ways.
Or better still, you do like a balloting system. You put all the eggs and you randomly select whichever it falls into. So at least it's still one of
the best wife win.
I
don't know. But yeah.
Yeah. So what would you guys do if you were one of the wives? I know it's going to be might be difficult for the guys, but if you're one of the wives, what are you going to do in this situation? Is it fair for the man to have, he has 6 wives? Not a lot of men can do that, boast of that. Not only that, now you want to go outside to play a away match to child from someone else and bring it to the household. How would you feel? What would you say to that? So as the man, imagine you have 5 wives. Oh no, your wife and your partner has 5 of you in the house, 6 partners. And then she says, okay, I don't want my child to be fathered by any of you men. I'll go get another man from outside to father my child. Like, how would you guys feel?
So if I want a kid, I'll be so down with that, because I guess most women want to have kids of their own. So I guess that's selfish from the man's aspect. But I would say that going outside now, I won't like that. No way. I'm actually leave for that reason, to be honest. I'm actually leave. Yeah.
Now, so my next question now, to make it a bit serious, because we always talk about people in society. Do you think that the way we see like marriage and relationships is affecting the way we are viewing this man right now? Because obviously now he's in a polygamous relationship that is out of the norm anyway. Most people don't like polygamous relationships, so people don't. That is, for me, I think the guy is a hero because now a lot of men can do that, by the way. And then now he wants to get a child through surrogacy, obviously. His own sperm, but someone else's eggs. But I'm going to assume that they're using surrogacy loosely. I'm going to assume that since he's Brazilian, even though this might be stereotyping, he will want his own hard work to yield the baby.
I think
Outside of-
the do is not even the problem here. The problem is who actually has the eggs fertilized. So for me, he has already crossed the line by going past one. So it doesn't matter, because when we put the term marriage, it's just like it makes it a lot more official. But again, the dynamic still remains the same thing. You're stepping outside to be with multiple partners. So whether or not you're married, I don't think it changes the discussion. So he could slip around, do the normal whatever way, then pregnant. But that's not the question. The question is the fact that he's going to do that outside. Does you have an issue with him sleeping with another woman outside of the marriage, right? Personally. But where I have the issue would be still on the fact that it's none of the women. It's that
Is the guy selfish? Is he selfish? Is he because he is considering his wife in court because he want that harmonious relationship. There's no fight, no quarrel. And so he wants to keep that relationship that way. Is he actually thinking about the wives, or is he only thinking about himself?
I don't think so. I think he has to let the women make the decision. Then if it comes from the women, then if they're in harmony with that, which the chances of that is being slim. Let's be realistic.
Very, very.
Yeah. So if the women genuinely consent, then he's not being selfish. But if he doesn't consult them and then he comes up with this decision in the name of I want to maintain harmony, then I think he's being selfish.
Fair enough. And the ladies, what do you think? Is it fair do you think he's actually considering the women, or is it just being selfish?
I think he is considering the women. I think in his thought process is that he's considering his wives. He lives with them, so he probably can see the dynamics. Whoever's pregnant will get more attention from him as well. So stepping outside of the house, having a surrogate, I'm assuming that he's not going to be so involved in the pregnancy. So they'll still have him home and then the baby will just come in. So I don't think he's being selfish in that aspect. But I think when you think about it in its totality, yeah, it's not fair that you've got 6 wives. 6 wives and you don't want to give none of them a child.
Yeah. Fair enough. And Ade, as usual, I like all your reactions in the background. What do you have to say to it?
I'm quite surprised that Morris and at least Morris said the guy is being selfish. This is the agreement. This is the arrangement. He's doing the best he can. Yeah, he's doing the best he can to make sure everyone is having an equal platform. Because like Madam Sakisha said, it could be tricky if one of the women becomes the star girl with the big tummy. So yeah, I think it's done well to have it outside, bring the child in to be a little princess, all 7 people doting after the child. Yeah, I think it's done what he can, given the wonderful circumstances he's found himself in. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not going to flog the story too much. I'm just going to segue into story 2, because story 2 involves a man in the United States. And I don't know if the newspaper, the news report was taking the piece, because the guy's name is literally Mazayah. That's his name. Mazayah, spelled Mazayah. All right. So Mazayah was in a relationship with one woman. And while they were in the relationship, just like Johnny's friend, he asked the girlfriend if they can have multiple partners. But the first girlfriend was not interested, so they broke up, went to separate ways, and then went to date someone else. Now, while he was dating lady number 2, let me say lady number 2 now. While he was dating lady number 2, he got in touch with girlfriend number 1, and girlfriend number 1 says, "Okay, I'm happy now to be in a throuple, basically." And so he went to speak to girlfriend number 2. Girlfriend number 2 was cool with it, so they became a throuple in the end. And after a while, in the throuple, the guy wanted someone else. Okay, because lady number 2 is, I think she's more into open relationships. Girlfriend number 1 was not bisexual, but she just accommodated. But girlfriend number 2 is bisexual, so she is fine now. She's more polyamorous in quotes, we can say, because she's already in a throuple, but she also wants someone else and decided to get lady number 3. So Mazayah has 3 girlfriends. And this guy is a real Mazayah because for some reason, the girls or his girlfriends have all agreed to do some body enhancement to achieve his ideal body type. Okay. To this, ladies, what is your reaction? First, before I come to the guys, what is your reaction to the story? First of all, initial thoughts.
I'm still trying to take it in. Okay, so can I just go over it? So he's now got 3 girlfriends.
Yes.
All 3 of them are willing participants. Now wants them to enhance their bodies.
Yes. So they've all agreed to enhance their bodies to achieve his body type. He's going to pay for it because he's a Mazayah. So
I understand why his name is Messiah.
Yeah.
Okay. What can I really say? Because I think girlfriend number 1, her boundaries were that she didn't want to be in a throuple.
Yeah.
She's not on a, can we call it a
Quadruple,
couple?
I guess so. I don't know.
Right. So
Or triple.
from if her, she likes him enough to, I don't know.
Yeah. Quadruple.
Yeah. But she likes him enough to
come back.
To kind of to compromise on her boundaries.
Yeah.
Girlfriend number 2, she's open. She's very liberal.
Yeah.
And we don't really know about girlfriend number 3.
No, we don't know.
I'm assuming she's liberal as well. I wouldn't opt to do any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't pass a judgment on them because that's what they want.
Yes.
Princess, you wanna
chime in here?
Yeah.
I'm still processing, like Keisha said, but it's kind of so weird because girlfriend number 1 didn't agree, but girlfriend number 1 came back. So that's to tell you, like, the type of bond she has with the guy. So it depends on the bond they have. They must be in a close knit that they just agree to just being with this guy and be everything for this guy. Because for you to go and say you want to do some body modifications, just this guy wants it, means you really want this guy to just be the number 1 in the relationship or to be the number 1 in their lives, because they could easily opt out to other guys, but they decide to stay and to remain in this relationship. So it depends on the kind of bond and the hold the guy has in them as well. It could be love. Some people could say it could be charms, but understand it makes them feel for them to say, oh, I want to do this and I want to be with this person despite having several women, and it's strong. That's the word. It's a bit strong bond that they have, or a strong affection or emotion that they hold together.
Oh.
Yeah.
So girlfriend number 1 and girlfriend number 3 are going to have breast enhancements, while girlfriend number 2 is going to have a Brazilian butt lift, so BBL. To this, gentlemen, is the guy a winner? Is he lucky, or is he a alpha male, or is he a Mazayah?
He's definitely lucky now. He's definitely lucky because I guess I would say 95% of men want to be in his shoes, but they won't tell you that. He's definitely lucky.
Look at Sekisia's reaction, just like, what? What?
Yeah, he doesn't want to agree. I understand why. Well, he knows deep down. He likes that.
Yeah. Are they?
So, Chief, what's this kind of setup question that you've just thrown out here? What?
I'm just reporting the news here, guys. I just report what.
Yeah, just reporting news.
Yeah,
okay.
what are you?
I won't shoot the messenger. My thoughts. Well, without going into more detail, the fact is they're in a relationship, however many they are, and they are meeting each other's needs. That's just the bottom line. I'm not big on body enhancement. I'm very keen on natural. So yeah, that was what Mazayah wants, and the ladies were willing to give him. That's the key to any relationship. We want this, I want this, you want this, and we can see eye to eye, meet each other halfway. Then life is good, regardless of whatever it is they want, as long as it's not killing people. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, so now let me ask a setup question. As Johnny said, he said 95% of men would like this kind of relationship, but they're not going to confess to it. So Maurice, is this guy lucky, or is he just an outcast?
I don't think he's lucky. I think I don't know what the dynamics of their relationship.
Yeah, they all agree. They all agree to do the BBL. It's not forcing them or anything. He's going to pay for it, obviously, but it's not forcing them. So they're all happy to do it because they want to please Mazayah.
At first thought, I felt like he's taking advantage of them just because he knows that when you've put someone into a sort of like a chokehold, like now they're so committed to him and the relationship that it's more or less you're betting them into a corner whereby it's difficult for them to say no. That's why but again, I still want to give them the benefit of doubt, which is the women, to say that they have individual liberty to decide whether or not that's what they actually want to do. So if it's what they want to do, then it's fine. But I strongly suspect, I may be wrong, but I strongly suspect that he might be taking advantage of them. But I would like to understand what are the dynamics of the relationship, or what are the financial conditions of these women, because most of the times when we look at situations like that, it also comes from a position whereby one set of partner, which is in most cases like this, the women tends to benefit maybe financially or some sort of benefit, maybe not necessarily financially, from the man. And they might be feel more or less compelled to do certain things, because if they don't, then that stream of benefits that they derive, be it emotional, be it financial, what have you, would then be removed or detached from them as a result of that. So that may actually influence their decision as to whether or not they want to pursue that course of action, which is why I'm just suspecting that he might just be taking advantage of them because he knows that chances are they might, but I may be wrong here.
To be fair, from the news reports, the ladies are happy. They just want to please him. And then he drew out the body type that he wants. And then they all decided to enhance to fit into that body type. Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
So
it's like a like relationship.
Say that again?
Or it's like for like relationship.
Yeah.
So he something and they benefit something.
Exactly.
Potentially.
Yeah, he dropped his body type, I guess. Then they were like, oh, maybe I can take advantage to get what I want.
They might have wanted those body shapes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's another thing. I mean, if they want it, then good for them. But
considering the fact that he's financially supporting it, they might have wanted it, but they don't have the finance to do it.
Yeah. So my next question now is, what role do you think societal beauty standards play in these ladies accepting to change their body type? Because the man is already, to me, I think the guy is already enjoying 3 different people. No complaints. Everyone is fine. According to the report, they share their time evenly among each other. Is it a case of societal pressure to look a certain way, or I don't know, like that's just what role the societal beauty standard has to play, maybe in general, in getting people to enhance their body type? I know people will say, yeah, this is what I want. But really, if you look at it, it's because you've been seeing certain images, certain pictures over time, and that kind of influences people's what they think to be beautiful.
I would say, yeah. Like it's environmental. So it could be, what they see on social media. I don't know. I'm just assuming that they're black.
Kind of, yeah.
That's it.
They are like mixed.
Latin American?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and they're like body enhancements, they're big on that. Like I don't want to say in their culture, but I've seen a lot of them. They like to be more curvaceous. big breasts, big bums.
Yeah, the first thing that
They
comes
have
to
an award
mind
for
is,
that, remember, right?
exactly. So when you think Brazilian butt lift, it stems, it gives them that is probably
Miss Bom Bom, remember?
it's
So I mean,
If
what do you expect?
yeah. So I think societal influence might have played a role as well. But yeah.
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 And do you think there's like a power dynamic? What's like the power? Because even though the women are saying they spend time evenly, is there like a power dynamic there? Is the guy more dominant in the relationship? Because the women are doing what the man wants. Obviously, we don't know them in their everyday life. We don't know if he does what they want. But just based on this story alone, like who has the most power here?
I would
If I
say
didn't
it's the
know where
guy.
this from, I would
Sorry,
have said it.
sorry, you can go.
No, sorry, I would have said it with the guy, but because I know where they're from now, I question it. I'm not sure. It might be the women have a little bit. I'm not going to say they have more power, but I would say that they might be on a level playing field with the guy. I would like to know what his finances are, because if he's, let's say, mega wealthy, then I would definitely say he is holding more cards than the women.
Yeah, but the thing is that
But
they live in America, so even if he does it through insurance and then he pays back, it doesn't need to be mega wealthy. But as long as he can pay back his insurance and
he's Mazayah, so you don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I think just because I'm thinking now, like culturally, I'm not sure if he does hold as much power over them as my initial thoughts. Like beforehand, I was kind of like thinking of the dynamics of just like the girl next door, or girls, next door kind of women. But now I'm thinking of like the likes of Erica Mena, very fiery, you know, like that. It's like that benefits them. So because it benefits them, they're willing to work and do whatever. I don't want to say whatever. I don't want to put that on Erica, but
yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So you think
but
that
you know what I mean?
yeah, so you think that maybe the ladies asked him what is your ideal body type, and then he foolishly drew his body type. Oh yeah, we want, big one.
Not even in my head, what I picture is that they were looking at themselves, complimenting each other. He would like more so. And he might have just been like, oh, I would actually like that. I would like you to get your breast done. And then they've come to a mutual decision that they will all get this done, because he's chosen like very specific, what I call it, enhancements for.
Yeah, no, they chose it. I think the women
chose.
Yeah, they chose what they want to enhance.
Oh, well, then I feel like that was their choice. I forgot, because he drew the body shape.
Yeah, he drew the body type of the women that he wanted, and then they decided to enhance to match
the parts that they maybe didn't like on themselves.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I would say it sounds like it was pretty even. It seems like, oh, maybe I'm looking and I'm saying, oh, I want to change this about myself. And the person said, do you know what? Yeah, I think you would look nicer with this done. I will pay for that. Let me show you what I would prefer you to have.
Fair enough. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And Ade, you're writing a lot of things. I don't know. Or I'm assuming that you're writing.
I'm not writing. I was just carefully considering what I was hearing. But I agree. I think it's balanced, because we don't know all the details. So we just have to assume there's an element of balance. The first one did walk away at one point. So it's not like I feel bad mentioning this name, but it's not like an R. Kelly situation where he's holding them hostage or something like that. So they do have agency. Yeah. They can duck out if they want to. So yeah, balanced-ish, at least for the most part, in my opinion.
Right. Fair enough. And then the final two questions for the panel is for story one, if let's say this was a sitcom or a romantic comedy, how would you write the ending of this story where he has 6 wives and he still wants a child through surrogacy? So how would you write the end of this story? Okay. Yes.
It depends on if the man wants 6 kids.
Yeah, I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
Okay, if he does, what will be the ending? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, if he wants 6 kids, all the wives maybe have 1 kid for him, and that's just it. Just one.
So
nothing more.
Because
Because if you have no surrogacy, because there will be a competition if one has 2 and one has 0 and one has 4. So if it's just balanced across the board, I would say that's how I would want the story to end. Him as well can have the surrogacy, so that makes it 7 because he wants one outside.
Mhm.
You get it? So just to be balanced across the board. So yeah, what the wife has one and he have one. So because there's basically 6 wives in him, so everybody has 1 kid, balanced across the board. So it's fair. So that's how we end story 1.
Right. And Morris.
Story 1,
Mhm.
we give him nothing. We give him no kids. See, this has no happy ending for the man. I don't like him already as a person, so I'm giving him nothing here. But yeah, but I think the women should. If I said something about maybe put all the eggs, you can still use the surrogacy. Put all the eggs. Let them just do a random. Whichever comes out as the winner,
Mhm.
then gets to fertilize the eggs, and then they all raise the child with no one having an idea of who actually is the parent. That might be a good thing.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll see who looks like who when the baby is born.
It's
So
possible. It's
Exactly.
possible,
To still
but
cause problems too.
it's possible. But that's. But yeah, but no one knows for sure. So,
fair enough. If
but
you
yeah,
could
that's how I would have wanted it to end.
yeah, and then John.
I'm going to follow Princess on this. I'm going to write that all the wives have a kid. That's the fairest conclusion to the whole story.
And then Ade.
Every mother raised their own kid.
Fair. And if you had to end story 1.
Well, it's a sitcom, so it can't be that straightforward that everyone will just cutely have their own kid. So my own solution is we'll go for the surrogacy, but as destiny will have it, the woman will come out with sextuplets. So there'll be one for each wife. Well, it's a win-win situation.
That's it. That's
It's from no one. They all get
yeah.
a little pet child to keep them company. Yeah,
That's a good
my
one.
Yeah. Well, and
Thank you.
Sakisha, you have to write the ending for this sitcom or romantic comedy.
Mine be that he ends up with 24 kids. So all of the wives have twins, but then he has another kid to 25 with the surrogate, and the house is overcapacitated, and he lives in a little hut next door. Be massive.
And that was my ending as well. Like each woman has 4 kids, and then let's see how he survives. I don't know if that's coming from jealousy, from I just want
No, I
him.
think he
I want
deserves it.
yeah,
That's
he
why I said
deserves
he
what he
gets
wants.
nothing out of this. Yeah. But
That's
yeah.
24 kids plus plus the surrogacy as well. Yeah, so 25. I agree with that. And for story 2, if you had to write the ending, imagine story 2 is a sitcom or thriller or horror film, whichever one. If you had to write the ending, what would it be? He already has 3 wives. They're doing surgery to enhance their body to achieve his body type. What would be your ending? I'll start with Johnny Boy.
I'm going to go with tragedy. So one of the wives dies, and then the other 2 back out and leave him.
Right. I think I'll watch that sitcom. Maurice, I see you smiling.
May I have to come back to me on this one? Let me think.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go, Princess.
The women has to decide what they want in their ideal man as well. And he has to go through the surgery. So, and when they do that, 2 of them would die, not one. And him as well would die from the surgery.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. And he will be the only person remaining that would die
Mm.
with the first girlfriend that didn't want it in the first place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. To God be the glory. And sin.
These people are wicked.
Right, Sakisha, how would you end this story?
I would end it that girlfriend number 1
Mhm.
comes to her senses and remembers who she was initially. She convinces girlfriend number 2 and 3 to knock him out and put him on surgery table and give him all the enhancements that he wanted them to have.
Wow.
So he now has a BBL with whatever size breasts he
So
wanted.
Bobrisky, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Ade.
That was, I think Sakisha's one is my favorite so far. Princess, yours is very bleak. People are dying. Anyway, mine is going to be for him to, I won't say come to his senses because it's his choice, but for him to say, ladies, you know what? let's all keep natural. And they say, yeah, thank you. And they end there. So no surgeries. Everyone sticks with what God gave them, live in contentment, peace. And yeah, they live happily ever after, raising mini Mazayahs.
Fair enough. And then Morris.
I think I'll go for the women do whatever surgery they like. It enhances them. They become even more beautiful. And then they leave him. And he then has to live with himself. Oh, I wish now you have the perfect woman, but you can't have them. So you just admire them from afar. And that's how I would end it.
No, these guys are too mean to Mazayah. Well, if I'm writing the ending, yes, they all have the surgery to achieve his body type and they all live happily ever after. I'll just keep the story the way it is. Yes, I know my own is boring, but that's just the way I'm choosing to end the story. So there you have it, folks. You've been listening to ScatterYarn podcast where we've talked about two different individuals in a polygamous and polyandrous relationship. If you've enjoyed it, please tap the like button, subscribe if you're new or you're yet to subscribe. Until the next episode, keep using your brain and maintain sanity. SCFA. Thank you.
See you.